on the streets. Irma has been downgraded to a tropical storm, but it's left a trail of destruction and danger in its wake.
It's extremely important that you check with local officials before return home to make sure you can safely do so. Don't go back. Don't think just because this thing packed you can run home, or passed you can run home. We've got down power lines all across the state. We've got roads that are impassable still across the state. We've got debris all over the state.
Many houses in Florida escaped relatively unscathed, but over 6 million homes, that's 2/3 of the state, are without electricity.
We didn't get any water inside. I know the stores on both sides of us did, but we did a lot of preparation to try to make sure of it. And at home, my house did great. It'd be nice to have power back on, that's for sure.
Others weren't so lucky, and it seems it was the less sturdy properties, like these on a trailer park in Miami, that have suffered the most. It could be some time before life gets back to normal for these people.
The streets of Havana turned into rivers by Hurricane Irma. Canoes, not cars, are now the best form of transport here. At least 10 people have been killed in Cuba by Irma, which has now been downgraded to a tropical storm. The death toll in the Caribbean now stands at 38. Don't have anything. We've lost everything, she says. The fridge, the washing machine, we've lost everything in here. Irma barreled into Cuba late on Friday, and with winds of up to 260 kilometers an hour, is the first Category 5 hurricane to make landfall on the island since 1932. Millions have been left without electricity. Waves of up to 11 meters crashed into Havana's historic seafront boulevard on Sunday.
China and Russia have joined a unanimous UN Security Council vote to impose new sanctions on North Korea after its 6th and largest nuclear test. The latest sanctions were agreed on Monday after the US removed some of its tougher proposals, such as a complete oil embargo. However, America is still talking of further action if there's no change.
We are not looking for war. The North Korean regime has not yet passed the point of no return. If it agrees to stop its nuclear program, it can reclaim its future. If it proves it can live in peace, the world will live in peace with it. On the other hand, if North Korea continues its dangerous path, we will continue with further pressure.
Despite years of diplomacy and sanctions, Pyongyang has continued to develop its nuclear program and now claims to have developed a hydrogen bomb. Far from being restrained by the threat of more drastic measures, Kim Jong-un appears to have been celebrating the allegedly successful test a week ago, as seen on this footage run by state television.
Catalonia's National Day is being celebrated amid an increasingly bitter backdrop of disputes over the regional government's bid for independence from Spain. Traditionally, the festival commemorates the 1714 fall of Barcelona in the War of the Spanish Succession. But this year it's been rebranded as La Diada del Sí, or the National Day of Yes, a nod to the Catalan president's pledge to hold a referendum on secession in 3 weeks' time. Carles Puigdemont and the ruling Together for Yes coalition insist the October the 1st vote is legal. Madrid says it's unconstitutional and one region alone should not be allowed to vote on an issue that affects the whole country. Last week, Spain's constitutional court suspended Catalonia's so-called referendum law. Prosecutors are now deciding whether charges should be filed against Puigdemont and other MPs for alleged disobedience and abuse of power.
Angela Merkel arrives for a pre-election TV debate in Germany. So far, it's been a quiet run-up to the upcoming federal vote for the Chancellor, with an unprecedented 6 parties currently polling enough to get seats in the Bundestag. The exact makeup of the country's next government is anyone's guess. Despite being elected Germany's first female Chancellor in 2005, Merkel has not made women's issues a priority. Questions are now being asked. This 18-year-old with Down syndrome questioned the German Chancellor on her policy for abortion
ist, dass 3 Tage die Eltern noch einmal überlegen sollen, ob diese Abtreibung wirklich gemacht wird. Das war unglaublich schwer, dafür Mehrheiten zu bekommen, das muss ich leider sagen, weil man sehr gesagt hat, das ist die freie Entscheidung der Eltern und insbesondere der Mutter. Aber wenn man sieht, was für ein toller Mensch Sie sind, dann kann ich nur sagen, ist es, glaube ich, richtig gewesen, dass wir darüber auch nochmal nachgedacht haben.
Deshalb haben wir
Opinion polls suggest Merkel's centre-right CDU could easily win a 4th term in the election on the 24th of September. A recent poll put her 14 points ahead of the Social Democrat SPD leader Martin Schulz. The far-right AfD could win between 8 and 11% in the poll. However, Merkel and her main rivals, the SPD, have ruled out any coalition with the party.
British MPs have passed a key stage of a bill transferring EU law into domestic legislation.
the ayes to the right, 326. The noes to the left, 290.
The EU withdrawal bill now moves to the next stage of the lawmaking process. The Prime Minister faces a battle against MPs who want to amend the bill.
The ayes have it. Unlock.
Theresa May, in a statement, said earlier this morning Parliament took a historic decision to back the will of the British people. It means we can move on with negotiations, and we continue to encourage MPs from all parts of the UK to work together in support of this vital piece of legislation. Anti-Brexit protesters have voiced their opposition to the bill and Britain's planned clean break from the EU. The government says the bill would ensure a smooth departure from the bloc. Its passage is expected to take months to complete.
A court in Istanbul on Monday ruled to continue the pre-trial detention of 17 staff members from Turkey's leading opposition newspaper, the Cumhuriyet Daily. They were arrested in November and December 2016 and charged with aiding terror organisations after last year's failed coup against President Erdogan.
Unfortunately, the situation is worse and worse, month after month, and Erdogan succeeded to suppress pluralism and free press in this country.
MPs from the main opposition CHP party made a statement and held a protest outside the court carrying copies of the newspaper. Turkey holds a record of imprisoned journalists, 170. Everyone who's not with the government is a terrorist in Turkey. They can accuse you of being in any terror organisation, but it's pluralism, freedom of thought and expression that are on trial. Prosecutors are seeking up to 43 years in jail for the paper's staff, including some of Turkey's best-known journalists.
Televidente, momento, ora para um espaço comercial, agora nós estamos no Informe Deportivo.